right, welcome to tonight's episode of Group Therapy. We have another guest tonight. Not Tina, not Brandon. It's Mick.
I am Brandon version 2, if anybody wants to know. So I am the bigger, better, badder version of Brandon.
No, we're sitting there, and this started out as conversations we had at the shop, and I was like, well, he said they need to get you up on the show, so today's the day.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a while, so
it's one of them just trying to get the getting everything all situated.
My job, though, I work nights.
Yeah.
And my job, I don't have like normal weekends either. I get Tuesdays and Saturday nights off, so it's never a big thing.
And Vince is going to say hello. What are you going to say? You going to say hello to everybody?
Coming right up.
Coming right up?
That's close.
That's close. Say, welcome to tonight's episode of Group Therapy Podcast. Nope. All right, you going to go back and watch your cartoons? What you watching?
The Rough Ruffin Show.
Roughman Show.
Rough show.
All right. And as always, tonight's episode is brought to you by RU Game, the best comic book, video game, magic, as Tina says, hobby shop in all of Pickville, Ohio.
And as I used to call it, Mick's collection shop, because for a long time it looked like my collection because this guy bought my whole collection.
I bought it and then put it in. I'm getting down where I don't have a whole lot of your stuff.
I like I told you the other day, I was like, I'm actually happy about that now because I feel like it wasn't all for nothing, because for a long time I was sitting there going, oh my God, this looks like my room, this looks like my collection, and then slowly but surely it dwindled. Dwindled
so that's
down,
the thing is that with your collection, because when I bought your collection, I had bought right around the same time. I brought like 2 other collections, so I had a ton of stuff come in all at once, and then some of the stuff just slowly came out, and so it felt like it was there forever. But technically, if you want to look at the length of time it was on the shelf, was very short.
You still got the Star Trek posters.
Yeah, but those were put back for a while.
Yeah, but you just put those out like last month or a couple months ago.
Yeah, like a couple months ago, yeah. So. And it's one of them ones where I had to wait till I had room to put those big posters up. Mm-hmm. And now almost every week I got people going, I want them. And then they're sitting there going,
buy them.
I'm like,
they're awesome.
Well, the thing is, I told them, I will sell them separately, but I'd rather all 4 of them go at once.
Yeah, I'd rather that too.
And they're like,
it's a complete set. Like,
yeah,
I think I got every single color. I think I'm only missing one. I think there might be a blue of the Franklin, the USS Franklin. I'm not sure, blue or red or something like that.
And well, what because then I have to explain to them. They're like, well, what are these? I was like, well, this one you got if you went to the real 3D. This is the one you went to Showcase. This is one you went to. I can't remember what the other.
Yeah, literally, you would have to watch that movie like 18 times to get to get the free posters.
The worst part about it is if they would have gave those at drive-ins, because I know when it's for the second one now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The first one, the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
I kept going to the drive-in. Well, I would go to the Melody 49, and they would show 2 movies, and then they would show the same 2 movies again. Well, one screen was over here, one screen was over here, and the theater was. The drive-in was cut in half. So we'd watch 2 over here. And then I would usually flip the car around and pull over and watch another movie.
Yep. And
I want to say I watched that Star Trek movie every weekend because it was so hot at the time that it went from being the first run theater on the one side, or the first run theater, the first run movie on one screen, and then I can't remember what the second one was, and then it moved to the first run on the other screen. Then it went back and became the second movie on the first screen. And I just kept going. I'm like, whatever. I'm just watching Star. I loved that movie. I was always a bigger Star Wars fan than Star Trek, but Star Trek always had that little place in my heart because it'd been there forever.
Yeah.
Star Trek's been there my entire life. I don't remember it not being there. So it was one of them, and I just kept watching it, and I was like, I had it memorized by the time, and I still sit down. I watched it the other day.
Mm-hmm. It's good. The reboots are freaking awesome as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
I like how they did. I like how they brought in Leonard Nimoy. You know, I love that. And they kind of did the whole time distortion thing and everything else. I
And-
like how it's its own. It's its own universe though. Like it's not.
No, it's the Kelvin
It's
universe.
not, yeah, it's not William Shatner. It's
No. Those guys
you
still
know, it's-
exist.
Yeah, so I like that. But going along your lines, we're going to talk about the '80s and everything. One of my fondest memories is going to 36 Drive-In out there.
Oh, yeah.
On 36 in Piqua, and one night they had Star Trek 1, Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3 triple feature out there at the drive-in. My parents took me. Now, I fell asleep during Star Trek 1.
Now, Star Trek 1 is long and a bit tedious to get through.
I woke up for Star Trek 2. I watched most of Star Trek 2, fell asleep, and then I woke up for the very end of Star Trek 3 when Shatner was given his speech for he wasn't human. I can't remember the.
Oh, he was the most human.
He's the most human soul I've ever met. So,
what was funny is that I've said this one before. At that 36 drive-in there in Piqua, which is now I want to say a landscaping.
yeah, it's like concrete blocks and
It was. I used to go there.
Wood and
What was the VFW or not the the MVets?
Mm-hmm.
Because my dad knew people that were out there, and so we'd go. I've been there. And I was like, I'd walk in and be like.
I know, yeah. You could still tell, like, if you drive by, you can still tell that used to be a drive-in.
Well, when you walked in the building,
yeah,
it was still kind of set up the way it was and it was like, this used to be where the convenience and this is where the, but one summer, and I could tell you the summer of 1991, I had a friend that worked at the drive-in in Piqua. So when I'd get off work and have nothing to do, I'd go to the drive-in. We got bad back there because there was a drain in the other room. So I would just go to the drive-in, and I had a girlfriend at the time. And sometimes I'd go see her, and then I'd be like, I gotta go. She gotta get up and go to school or whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm off work. I need to go do something. So I'd go to the drive-in. So I watched that summer. I couldn't tell you how many times I watched Terminator 2.
Nice.
And Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh, I was about to say Men in Tights.
Because that was a double feature. They ran it. And that was back in the day.
No, that's two good movies.
It's two great movies.
Yeah.
It's two long movies.
Yeah.
Because when you start watching that at like, the sun got good and dark at about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then movies are 2.5 hours plus.
Yeah.
And there's an intermission. And there was back in the day, there was still cartoons at the beginning. And trailers.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was like 6 hours.
Yeah. I tell you what, out of, Robin Hood movies, man, that one and Men in Tights, all the other one, I don't even like the Disney one.
I love the Disney one.
Yeah,
but that's that.
I grew up on. My grandmother was born in 1928 on the same day as Mickey Mouse, so Disney is in my family's life. I grew up with Disney. I just, you can't get. Guess I kind of got tired of it and everything.
Well, mine was that. With that one, it caught me at the right time because I remember when I went to the theater and saw it for like the re-release because I think it came out like 72 before I was born. And I saw it a bunch when I was a little kid. I think my mom took me to take it, see it. That's about when you went and seen shit in the theater. You couldn't go to the, you had to wait till it was on Saturday afternoon. You would go occasionally. So we would. That's like I was trying to explain to some of the kids at the shop. I was like, we didn't have VHS tapes. We have DVDs. We didn't have streaming. I was like, you had to hope the movie came back around. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching at the Piqua Theater Star Wars and a Star Trek double feature on a Saturday.
Yep.
Because, and I also remember watching Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Because that was before it was A New Hope. That was when it was just Star Wars. But,
Yeah, when did it become a new dude? They got really anal about that.
I think it came out with the '97 re-release.
Okay, because I know I said from the very beginning when the title sequence started scrolling by, it said Star Wars and then it said Chapter 4: A New Hope.
Yeah,
but no one ever called it A New Hope until all of a sudden it was. You couldn't call it Star Wars anymore. You had to call it A New Hope, and it's like.
Well, that's like when people start
Star
calling stuff,
Wars
episodes 4, episode 3.
Again, to me and you, for the longest time, it was just the Star Wars
trilogy.
1. Yeah, Star Wars 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, even though it was episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even notice that.
I
didn't notice that until they came out with the prequels, and they were like episode 1, 2, and 3, and I literally had to look back, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Well, what's funny was
you didn't have internet back then.
No. It was
stuff
Star Wars,
paying
Empire, and
attention.
Jedi.
Yeah,
it wasn't Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. It was Star Wars, Empire and Jedi.
Yeah. Yep.
And oh my god! But it was so much fun because you would, that's what we just, we didn't have. Like I said, if you were lucky, you would catch it on HBO.
Yeah.
Or Showtime or
HBO is where I first saw Alien.
Yeah. I think I saw Alien at the drive-in because my parents went and I was asleep in the back, and because I know that's when what the worst part about it is, Alien didn't mess with me when I was a little kid. You know what movie messed with me when I was a little kid?
What?
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, when them little kids are with the faceless little kids falling into the meat grinder. Yep.
For me, I remember I was young, dude, because Alien that came out in 1978 or something
79.
like that. 79.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was young, and I went to my uncle's house, and he had HBO, and it was the whole family there. So it was my mom and dad, them, cousins, and stuff like that. We all went down to his basement, sat down, and I remember I didn't really pay attention to it, but Alien was on. And then it was a few years later that Child's Play came out. Mm-hmm. And I was still young. Yeah, okay, so I was still young. But I remember asking my parents if I could watch that, and they were concerned that I would have nightmares. And I'm like, you do know that I used to watch Alien and all these VHSs with all these other horror movies on them and stuff like that. Now, I always tell people technically, because it's a good story, technically, my first horror movie was Motel Hell. And the reason why I say that is because the first night that I saw that movie was also the first night that I saw my first porno.
Oh.
I slept over at my best friend's house for a sleepover, and at night we'd wake up when mom and dad went to bed, kind of a thing, and everything. And he's like, "Hey, you want to see a horror movie?" I'm like, "Yeah." You watch a horror movie, and then he's like, "You want to see something different?" And I'm like, "Sure." And you want to know what movie that was? Little Oral Annie. Anybody out there has seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But that was my first porno and first horror movie, technically, in my life. So
it's funny because I couldn't tell you what horror was the first horror movie I saw was, but literally the first one that I guess the first horror movie that messed with me was The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Because
that was like
it was docudrama. Yeah. It was based on
like a documentary.
Yeah, it was based on real events that actually happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, down in Texarkana.
Yeah, they glorified, changed some of how people were murdered and whatnot.
I mean, technically, like a lot of movies have been based.
Oh yeah,
all of that a little bit. Even Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Slightly, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, and Psycho, all based on Ed Gein. Yeah.
Yep.
But we were sitting there, and the only reason I remember it was because we were on family vacation going to Texas.
It's the worst time to watch it.
And I'm in the back. We're in the motorhome, and I can tell you about when it was because I was pretty sure I was playing with Empire Strikes Back figures.
There you go.
So I was 5, 6. So that's 79.
Mm.
So I'm sitting there playing with that, and I'm up in there when you're allowed to like play on the mattress
Oh
above the
dude,
thing where no one cared.
Yeah.
So I'm up there playing.
There were no safety rules back in the '80s,
No.
man. It was just throw your child into the whatever you're driving and hope for the best.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and my mom and dad were like, "Hey, remember that movie we saw, The Town of Dread and Sundown?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "We're in that town." And we drove through Texarkana, and I'm like, I got my
Your
like,
parents are the best.
I was like, "Oh my god." It traumatized me as a child.
Nowadays, you would be in therapy. You would be locked up and put on all kinds of freaking medication for that. Back then, you just were scared.
Yeah. Now you know the best thing about that's one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Oh man.
I got the Shout Factory release of that, and I got I even got the it's not a sequel. It's the new Town That Dreaded Sundown, where somebody who watched the original becomes like a copycat and whatever. But I actually enjoy that too.
My favorite, my favorite old horror movie is Lost Boys. That's is it really horror? It's more.
There's vampires and there's blood. It's a horror movie. No.
But it's also a teen.
Yeah, it's a teen coming of age movie.
Coming of age movie and everything else. You want to talk about crushes? Okay, when we have that podcast,
Jamie Gertz.
Right? Oh my, just freaking. The girl that played Star.
Oh yeah,
she was in Solar Baby. She was in a bunch. I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, she was Jamie Gertz.
Is it? Okay, okay.
Yep.
But she wasn't like, again, for me, I never learned her name. I knew who she was, but she wasn't like a Molly Ringwald. Like, everybody knew who Ali Sheedy was. Molly Ringwald. That whole John Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
The Brat Pack clique.
Yep.
She wasn't a part. She was a part of it, but she wasn't a part of it. Like,
well, one of the ones that got me was I had a crush on Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Labyrinth.
Well, what was funny about it was because a movie I saw, and it's still one of my favorite movies, was Phenomenon or Creepers.
Yeah, okay.
Where she plays the girl that can control insects.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I was like, I had a crush on her, and they're like, well, that's weird. I'm like, no, it's not. I was like 12. She was like 14. Yeah, it was like, it just caught me at the right time.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then, then Labyrinth came out, and it's like, wow. And then she was in The Rocketeer, and, I was like,
That's like The Professional with me, with like Natalie Portman. If you look up Natalie Portman's age, she's only like a couple years younger than me. Like, when The Professional came out, I was in high school, and technically, she was playing a 12-year-old, but she was like 14 or something like that. So she was right there on the cusp of high school or something to that effect. And when I say that, people were like, "Oh, you're weird, man." And I was like, "Dude, we were basically the same freaking age."
Oh yeah. It was like, really?
like I just had a crush on her since then. Okay, like I like her now too.
Oh yeah. Well, what was funny is we had this discussion. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to figure this out. I go, the year that changed like everything for me was 1987. And everybody goes, why 1987? I was like, think about it. I was like, that was the year Lost Boys came out. Mm-hmm. That was the year we got RoboCop. That was the year we got Predator. That was the year, you're just like, 1987 was this big year. It was the year we got one of my other favorite vampire movie that came out the exact same. Hey, cat. Sorry. Was Near Dark.
Near Dark is one of my favorite.
Yes.
Fucking
Bill
Paxton.
Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen.
Yep. That's another one. See, that was one for the longest time because I remember watching it, but I only remembered like tidbits of it. And one of the things that
Jamie Gertz.
When what was her name?
Jamie Gertz. I thought.
It was like a weird name. Yeah, it's not Jamie. It's Jamie.
Yes, Gami.
Just call her Star. Her name's Star. She's a hippie.
Yeah, I was this close to being a movie. But Star Child.
So I didn't remember what the name was. I didn't remember who the actors were. All I remember is it was a vampire movie. There was a lot of freaking blood. It was scary as hell, and an RV that had slits.
Yeah, because then the little kid that was an adult was an old man.
Yep, that was it. Like, that's all I remember is an RV with slits in it so they could drive around during the day. And when the internet came out, I was like, man, I gotta remember what that. So that's what I typed. I typed in vampire movie with RV, and Near Dark came up, and I was like, that's got to be it. I watched it. I was like, oh, this is it.
I
found it again.
I still have my old VHS tape of that.
Oh man!
And I have my DVD. I haven't got it on Blu-ray. I need it on Blu-ray, but it's one of the ones that for me was him sitting there, and he goes, "Just how old are you?" And he goes, "We fought." He goes, "Well, let me put it this way: I fought for the South. We lost." And it was like, Lance Henriksen. And if you look,
man.
he wears that trench coat, and on the inside of the trench coat is the Confederate flag inside the trench coat.
Yep.
There he goes. Oh yeah, she was in Twister. She was in 16 Candles. John Hughes.
Oh, she was in Twister. She was the girlfriend or whatever of Bill Paxton.
Yeah, she was on Entourage, Still Standing, Ally McBeal, ER, Dream On, Sibs, Less Than Zero, yet again.
Yep. Less Than Zero.
Yeah,
I just watched that the other day. That was
Solar Baby, Crossroads. Forgot she was in Crossroads.
Yeah.
Quicksilver, Dream, 16 Candles, episode of Family Ties.
She was in 16 Candles.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
She was Robin. That's what it says. She was on.
She was one of the girls at the party that
Yeah.
cut off that other girl's hair. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
She
it.
was also on Facts of Life. She was Boots St. Clair. Oh yeah. I forgot. She was on Square Pegs. She was Muffy on Square Pegs. The show that nobody remembers because it had Jamie Gertz and a young Sarah Jessica Parker in it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge Sarah
No,
Jessica
I don't like Sarah
Parker
Jessica.
fan.
Sarah Jessica Parker has only done like two things that I ever cared about. One was Square Pegs. The other one was I loved her in Hocus Pocus. Even though Hocus Pocus
Hocus Pocus. I liked her in. Oh man, it was a.
but I don't even much care for Hocus
It
Pocus.
was an '80s movie, and it wasn't. I think Nicolas Cage was in it.
Oh, Leaving Las Vegas?
Was it that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, but I mostly like that because of Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah.
You
Nicolas Cage.
Who doesn't like Nick Cage? If you don't like Nick Cage, we're gonna fight.
Yeah, it's holy shit. With what's like Nicolas Cage watching freaking Fast Times at Ridgemont High and seeing him, he's just a cameo.
Well, yeah, he was Nicholas Coppola back then.
Yeah.
He wasn't even Nick Cage
Nope.
back then. He was Nicholas Coppola.
Yep.
Yep. Well, Nick Cage for me is kind of like, I mean, obviously you and I have the same kind of taste. So Idris Elba, freaking who else did you say that is always whoever you put him in a bad movie?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Yep. Freaking for me, Nick Cage because the movie could still be bad, like Vampire Kiss. I hate that movie.
But he'll be the best thing of a
But
bad
he's
movie.
the best freaking thing of it
Oh,
because he's just, I am totally here, man.
The remake of The Wicker Man, just to watch him just
exactly like
acting.
that was a horrible movie. But you gotta watch it because Nick Cage is in it.
Oh yeah. Well,
But he's been in some fantastic movies.
oh yeah, dude.
And lately he's been killing it.
Oh yeah. Well, he's
Mandy. That's
Manny, Color of Outer Space.
Color of Outer
the one
Space.
I can't remember the Wally's Wonder World.
I haven't seen
I haven't
that
seen
yet,
it
but
yet.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to. I haven't gotten it on. It's on early access or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not on the thing. But what's the other one that just came out? Mom and Dad.
Oh yeah.
You know that one. Oh my God, he's been killing it lately.
You know what? And then he's in the freaking National Treasure movies
Oh yeah,
because he is in fact a national treasure. That's still one of my favorite things, and I don't know. This is not political in any way, shape, or form. But when all those people were inside the Capitol building, somebody fucking
Photoshopped him taking
stealing the Declaration of Independence. I don't care where anybody stands on politics. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
That and my go-to picture or GIF, whatever you want to call it, is when people talk about getting drunk. And I always go for that. I'm stealing the Declaration of Independence.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's the greatest.
Oh, it's
And both of those movies are really good. They hold up.
well
Like
the fact that they're Disney Plus is looking at bringing it back as a series.
with Nick Cage.
Nick Cage will be in it, but as not as
I don't care.
there'll
Man.
be a, there'll be a supporting. There'll be like his daughter or
If
something.
he's in it, I mean, I still, a lot of people right now, again, politics and stuff like that, and things that are going on. They've canceled their Disney Plus. I kept Disney Plus because of Bubs, my godson.
Yeah.
And I don't watch a whole lot of stuff. I still haven't watched WandaVision yet. I still need to check that out. But my ex has watched it, and she had no clue what was even going on.
Yeah.
Like, she was confused the whole freaking time, but she was like, it's really good.
Oh yeah.
Like, she had no idea. I had to explain to her kind of like the whole universe inside the
Yeah.
thing
She
and
created a
everything
parallel
else. Yeah.
universe inside there. My whole thing is I was a fan of Katherine Hahn, who's the in there before that, and I was like, oh, that's funny that they bring her in as and I'm like, she's got to be something bigger, and of course I kind of figured what she was, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Kat Denning, they gave her. I was actually happy because I caught a couple little things or whatever, and they gave her a little bit bigger part than what she was in Thor and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, I was hoping for it. I don't think they did it. I haven't seen it, but they didn't do the two broke girls thing, did they? Okay,
No.
because there's a lot of memes out there.
Yeah,
that are like, they're like, if you don't do this, we're not watching this ever again. Because they were hoping for like the two broke girls with the cat in the diner outfit and stuff, but.
Oh,
all right, well, we can all hope.
Who would ever guess that you go down and you're like, huh? So the not Olsen twin Olsen is the best of the Olsens.
Isn't that amazing? Like, yeah, I had no idea she was an Olsen until what was it? I watched I think Old Boy. I watched Old Boy. And I saw her. I didn't even have any clue who she was. Like I think she had done the Marvel stuff before Old Boy, right? Or I don't know. Maybe I thought she was in the Age of Ultron.
Yeah, she's in Age of Ultron
before Old Boy.
Well, what's funny is that she and Aaron Johnson, who play Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, play husband and wife in the Godzilla movie, the 2000 reboot. Yeah,
that too, and also Old Boy. She's with Thanos.
Yeah,
and Old Boy, who's I don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Yeah,
it's been out for a while, but
to be honest, I 2013
Boy.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, Old Boy is.
Yeah, well, no. If you want to watch Old Boy, you go watch the original.
The Korean version. Yeah.
That is a. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a.
But again, I saw her in the in Old Boy, and I was like, she looks so freaking familiar. I was like, who the hell?
Oh, it's got Sam Jackson in it too. I forgot he's in it.
Yeah. And so I looked it up, and I was like, Elizabeth Olsen. I was like, you mean Mary Kate and Ashley? So I had to go deeper. I had to like dive into this rabbit hole of who the hell Elizabeth Olsen was, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, older sister or whatever, freaking that wasn't as famous is now famous and even better than what her twin sisters were.
Oh yeah, she was in the Silent House. She was Godzilla, Avengers: Age of Ultron. Yeah, because that was Old Boy was before that. It was after Silent House, but before Godzilla.
Yeah.
Well, that's like people figuring out. I'm like, I watched The Boys. Have you watched The Boys yet?
No, I haven't watched that at all. So,
like the main dude that plays Huey, that was from that show, and everybody's like, I was like, man, that guy looks so familiar. And I was like, his name's Quaid. Oh, he's Dennis Quaid's kid.
Ah, okay.
Like Dennis Quaid and I think Meg Ryan's kid. And then Stranger Things with
freaking
Ethan Hawke and Uma
Thurman's kid, man. And once you see that, like again, he's mentioned this before. It's like if you don't know, you're not going to notice. Once you know that girl is Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's kid,
you're like, how did I not know?
you're like, oh my god, wow.
Keep her feet away from Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Oh man! So what we're gonna do today's episode is we're 30 minutes in. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna come back. But first, we're going to do 80s action heroes. Because we're both 80s action movie guys, and oh my god, there's a lot of people that people forgot. It's like we were talking about this before we started filming tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned like I know the movies, but I don't know the actors. Like
Yeah.
I never really paid attention to
the whole.
What that guy's name was, because he was an action star, but he wasn't. He was doing like the B.
See, that's the problem,
like
man.
that,
Some of those B movies were far better than the A movies. So
I mean, you bought my DVD collection, so you know like all the B movies that I had. I love B movies. I just never really paid attention because I don't know. That's just the way it was, I guess.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
Eddie, this is Mrs. Butterworth. Hello, Eddie. I love your syrup. I make 2 syrups, regular and light. Mrs. Butterworth. And they're both delicious
Because they're thick and rich and buttery.
she really talks better than you.
Mrs. Butterworth's is twice as thick as maple syrup, so it pours slower. And it's made with grade A butter. Mrs. Butterworth's, regular and light.
Eddie, are you sleeping again?
No, I'm watching Magnum again.
When it comes to action and adventure, come home to Tom Selleck. Come home to Magnum on Channel 12.
We got a one pepperoni with anchovies. What are you doing? I'm watching Magnum.
He's smooth, he's sexy, he's hot.
Lady, you ought to watch your machine as soon as I'm done watching Magnum.
Come home to Tom Selleck. Come home to Magnum. Weekdays at 5.
Come home to Channel 12.
And now some typical consumer reaction to an exciting Pizza Hut offer.
Yabba-dabba-doo! 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 Yabba-dabba-doo.
Yabba-dabba-doo!
That's right, it's Flintstone Kids glasses. Freddie, Betty, Wilma, and Barney. Just 49 cents with any Pizza Hut pizza. There's a different glass every week, so you can collect all 4 for your kids. What do you say to that?
Yabba-dabba-doo!
Flintstone Kids glasses, only at Pizza Hut.
All right, we are back, and
We now return to
the Group Therapy
TV.
podcast. Already in progress. I know I should have done what they used to do with because we make fun of this. I wrote a script for a pilot for a TV show one time. It was called Soap Opera Logic because I kept catching episodes of soap operas with Tina, and we had this ongoing joke that they would always bring in different people to play different characters. Mm-hmm. They're like, today the part of James Smith is played by, Jason Brandt or something like that. And then, a few years down the line, that character would be a completely different actor would be playing that character. Mm-hmm. So we wrote this whole thing that there was this, there was this soap opera show, and it was like all this weird shit would happen. But every episode, there would be this character, and he'd be played by a different actor, and he would play by in one episode he's played by a black guy, and then in the next episode he's played by a small Asian woman, and then the next episode he's played by like a midget. And it just kept going on, but there's no consistency in it whatsoever. But
the best soap opera parody that I can remember that I loved is, have you ever seen 28 Days with Sandra Bullock?
No.
And Alec, dude, it's got Alec Tunick in it.
Seriously?
Wait,
I did.
It's worth it just for that, man. I mean,
I thought that was a weird part of the trilogy because it's 28 days, 28 days later.
Well, anyways, freaking, she's in rehab or whatever, and Alec Tunick's in there, and there's a bunch of other people, and they're trying to cheer her up or something like that, and she likes this soap opera. Mm-hmm. So they do like a play on this soap
you know what? I
opera,
think
but they made it like totally ridiculous. Like the soap opera itself, where they showed it, was ridiculous. The play that they did was even more ridiculous, but it was fucking hilarious. My brain clusters.
Oh, he only did 3 movies.
Oh, okay. Well,
And he returned in archive footage for Kickboxer 4.
just for our uncredited archive footage.
Yeah,
because what's his name? Eric what?
I thought he was.
Oh, Dennis. Sorry,
Dennis.
Dennis the Terminator. Alexio. Yeah, but in real life he was like he was a kickboxer. He was a real life martial artist.
Well, okay. See, this is what's funny. Okay, here we go. We'll talk about some of our and of course we're going. This is of course we'll refer to Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Norris and that lot. It's funny because I'm sitting there the other day and I'm watching like just cheesy 80s action movies, and I forgot how many movies Don the Dragon Wilson's in.
Yeah,
and he was the shit, man, back in the day. But I was watching a bunch of his movies, and then I forgot. I was like, oh shit, he did movies with Billy Blanks. Oh shit, he did a movie with Roddy Piper. He did
the Don the Dragon Wilson, even Jean-Claude Van Damme, even Steven Seagal. What they were trying to do was fill the void of Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
they were looking for that guy. That's why, in all honesty, I think that's why Chuck Norris actually got like a bunch of movies and stuff like that, is because he actually did a movie with Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
and then he became that quintessential action star of the 80s.
Well, with Bruce Lee, a lot of stuff started with Bruce Lee, because you had you had Chuck Norris, you had Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, you had.
See again, Jackie Chan would have. I don't. Maybe again.
I don't think he would have, because
you could argue the point and everything else, but if it wasn't for Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, I don't think he might have been a stunt guy. Definitely, he would have had a great career being a stunt guy, but would he have jumped into action star like he did?
No, it's because that was when they were going and they were trying to find the next.
They were trying to find the next Bruce Lee.
He'd already been in Enter the Dragon. He had knew Bruce Lee.
He was friends. Yeah.
I don't know if they were friends, but they hung out.
They were.
They were acquaintances.
Yeah, they're not best friends. Like I have small dose friends. I have friends that I see for like freaking 10 minutes at a time, and that's about it. I just that's the thing that we had a conversation about. Same thing with like Bruce Lee and like all these other people. Is Bruce Lee had a lot of acquaintances, people that he would hang out with and stuff like that.
And he had a lot of people he trained.
Yeah.
And then it kind of was like, okay.
Yeah, Steve McQueen, freaking
James Coburn.
Yep, James Coburn.
But with that is that you had Jim Kelly, Black Belt Jones.
Yep.
You had
my favorite. Well, dude, Jim Kelly is freaking awesome. I love his movie.
I met him, and he was really cool, because I was at a convention, and him and John Saxon were like side by side.
That's another, yeah.
And John Saxon, because he did Enter the Dragon. He was Nancy's dad on Nightmare on Elm Street. He did a lot of horror movies. He did a lot of action movies. He was like a character actor who was in a shitload of stuff. And I go up there, and I'm just sitting there listening to freaking John Saxon talking. He's like so unpleasant, and I'm like, I might have caught him in a bad day or whatever. But I went up and I met him. I shook his hand and stuff, and I was like, hey, it's cool, and I was like, no offense, it was kind of cool. I got to meet somebody who shook hands with Bruce Lee, blah blah, and he's like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I figured you would, but I just had to say. And I met Jim, and went over to Jim Kelly, and Jim Kelly's like, yeah, I think, and he's like, always make sure, he's like, yeah. I was like, man, I just watched you in Black Belt Jones like a week before this, and when do you have this freaking fight in the car wash?
Yeah, there's guys that get it. Like the whole fandom thing is like, dude, if you're known for being in a movie with someone else, just take it. Like, use that. Okay, hey, at least people know who you are, but some of these guys, like I've got stories when I was doing bodyguarding in California, I'm sorry, Ben Affleck, terrible fucking person.
See, I've heard he changed a lot. But it's like
He might have, but back then, like again, this was 2005, 2006, and I don't want to get into this a long story, but there was a craft work guy, the guy serving food.
Mhm.
Ben Affleck walked up and he just started throwing Fruit Loops at him. And then the guy was visibly upset because he was getting Fruit Loops thrown at him. And Ben Affleck thought it was just joking around, throwing Fruit Loops and stuff at him. And then Ben Affleck was like, "Oh well, why don't you throw them at me?" And he just, so the guy was reluctant at doing it, but Ben Affleck would not let it go, at all. So the guy was like, "Fine." He threw a Fruit Loop, and Ben Affleck, like acting like an exaggerated Bruce Lee, was like, "Wah! Wah!" doing that kind of stuff. And I guess he got a little overzealous on it because the guy threw a Fruit Loop and it hit his jacket. I think it was a white leather jacket. And it was a white leather jacket that wasn't his. It was Wardrobe's. And he's got to give it back. And because it hit, he got so upset and like ran off, stomping off and everything else. And I mean, that's just, why do you have to act like that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a famous actor. Just be a normal freaking guy. Why do you have to be a diva or whatever?
Oh yeah, there's people who I think that let that shit get to their head. There's a lot of like I've been doing the comic book circuit, the convention circuit forever. There's a lot of people that I just, if I see them at a show or a convention, I try to avoid them if at all possible, because they're just like, oh. They were on a TV show in maybe the 60s or the 70s or even in the early 80s, and you're just like, man, really? My whole thing is I had a really bad experience with Don West from Lost in Space. I'm standing there in line waiting to get his autograph. There's a woman in front of me, maybe two people in front of me, and I'm standing there and I got my picture and I'm waiting to get in line. And this woman's like, you're a big part of my life, and I finally get to meet you. And so that was her moment. Blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, really? I was like, I want my money back. I threw the picture back at his. I was like, yeah, I want my money back.
Nice.
And they're like, what? I was like, we don't give money. I was like, yeah, I don't want the picture. I don't want the autograph. I was like, I want my money back. I was like, if he's going to be that way to somebody, I was like, I don't want to play part of this. I was like, I'm done. I'm good. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and they finally, I was like, just give me my money back. And he's like, well, we can't give you your money back. It's like, yeah, you can. You got my cash right there. You're still holding it in your hand. You haven't put it in a box yet. You can just, there. We're back. No harm, no foul. I'm done. I'm not dealing with this. And I was like, and this wasn't even towards me. This was towards a woman
towards someone else.
Yeah, that was like, really? This is how you make your living now.
Yep.
When was the last time Don West, I don't even know if he's still alive at this point, was anything? He makes all of his money with convention appearances. And you're going to be a dick to them. And that's like, whatever. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, again, when I was doing the bodyguard and stuff, I was not bodyguarding Ben Affleck. I was just on set, kind of there. And this happened, but before that, I was excited as hell. I was kind of, I got to hold it in because I got to be professional, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, there's Ben Affleck, like that. But then he did that. I lost all. I'm sorry. I mean, I can still watch, like I'll watch Mallrats and stuff like that, but I can't.
But, that's probably though. I'm not going to say anything, but I think he was an alcoholic at that point.
He probably was. Again, it was 2005.
Yeah.
I don't know what his situation was or anything else. I just know that he was a dick to this one guy for no reason whatsoever. At all. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't understand.
There's just people who I don't know. That's like I've talked to people who I knew a guy and he was an extra in movies. That was his big thing. He'd been in a ton of movies. as an extra.
Mhm.
And there's a great scene where he's in a movie, and it's funny because he showed it to us, and evidently they filmed it on 2 separate days,
Mhm.
but no one blocked where he was supposed to be. So he's literally behind both the actors having the conversation. So, like, say we're having this conversation right here.
Mhm.
They have the camera behind you to film me, and then the camera behind me to film you. Well, they shoot it on 2 separate days. He's here at a table.
The Fast and
And then
Furious thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's in the table right there.
You see all the and in Fast and the Furious, if you watch it, when he's like, "Dude, I almost had you," kind of a thing. When Vin Diesel is doing his little walk around or whatever, and doing the "you never had me, you never had your car" freaking thing. It'll cut back and forth, and when it cuts to Brian, you'll look back in the background and see these extras that are sitting there like going, "Oh yeah, what up, dog?" You know, stuff like that. And then it cuts to Vin Diesel, who's supposed to be the other way around. It's the same dudes.
guy,
It's the same people in the background. Yeah, yeah. Some movies they just don't care. Like they're just like
No one's gonna pay attention.
no one's gonna notice.
The continuity guy. They don't have a continuity guy on it.
One of my boys that I served with, he after he got out of the Marine Corps, he went to Hollywood. He went to a stunt man school or whatever like that. Did a whole bunch of training, and I don't think he did anything like huge blockbuster. But I mean, Benjamin Bratt. He's got pictures of him and Benjamin Bratt. He's got him and Lance Henderson, like when Lance Henderson was doing a bunch of B movies and stuff like that. Like he's got a bunch of pictures, and he was always the dude. He was always the dude that was SWAT, so he had the mask and the helmet on, so you can't tell who he is and stuff like that. But it was still kind of cool to kind of try to find him. I was like, dude, I'm gonna find you. Never really happened, but still, you know.
Oh, but okay.
Let's get back on topic.
Back on topic. Don't get me wrong. We do this in every episode.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. I watch all the episodes.
So we don't say. And it's funny. Don the Dragon Wilson was pounding out movies till 2007. Then he didn't do another one until 2012, and he's still doing them to this day.
What was the one in 2012?
Liberator.
Oh, okay. What's the one above it? That's the one.
He's in Scorpion King 4.
They made. I didn't even know they made 3 of them. I knew they made 2.
I think
they made 4 of those.
I think there's 5 of them.
Oh my god!
Well, what's funny is that he played Don Wilson in an episode of Walker Texas.
And yeah, he played himself in Walker Texas Ranger. I remember that one.
So, I mean, he popped up at 82. Then he did. See, I expected. Yeah, Blood Fist. He was in the Blood Fist movies.
Blood Fist 1, 2.
2, yeah. And Ring of Fire, Blood Fist, Forced to Fight, Black Belt. I got this VHS tape, Blood Fist 4, Die Trying.
Yeah.
I always put Blood Fist 4, Die Fisting. Ring of Fire, Out for Blood,
2.
Blood Fist, Human Target. Blood Fist, yeah.
Cyber Tracker, I've seen that one.
That's the one people forget. He was in Batman Forever as a gang leader.
Yep.
Cyber Tracker 2. Blood Fist.
Dude, Batman Forever. So he was the gang lead. He was the one that was all blacklit with the skull face, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. And he was the shit back in the day, and he was one of the ones that never made it big. He'd been in some big.
He had a good career. I mean, he
has a hellacious career. When
believe me, he's not like wanted for freaking a life or anything like that. Like he has made some good career. He never reached that status of Stallone, Bruce Willis, Schwarzenegger, But,
that's like, we were talking about this. I was talking about Michael Dudikoff and the American Ninja stuff. No one remembers Michael. You remember when American Ninja?
I watched American Ninja. I just, again, for me, just never learned that guy.
Yeah.
'Cause I think I've seen him in American Ninja, and what else has he done? What else have you seen him in?
Michael Dudikoff's in a bunch.
He's in a bunch of movies, yeah, but it's all, again, B-rated movies that never really made it.
Oh yeah, they were all they were all B and C level movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, but those movies were awesome, and we grew up in a day where VHS tape was king.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you went to the video store, you picked up a movie. You know, there was always an action movie that was essentially a knockoff of a American Ninja. God dang it! Seriously, my laptop is garbage. By the way, there it is. American Ninja, action adventure romance, 1985.
American Ninja 5.5 stars out of what 10?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I was watching the other day. It was a movie and it had like 5 stars on it, and I was like, what? This is a national treasure.
Oh yeah, he's also in Bachelor Party. He was Rico in Bachelor Party. Let's see what he's done.
Rico's the guy that the mechanic guy.
He was in Cobra, the TV series, as Robert Scandal Jackson.
Okay.
Which had nothing to do with the American Ninja 4, The Annihilation, Human Shield.
Rescue Me.
Yeah, what's funny is he's not in American Ninja 3. So he gets American Ninja 2 and 4. Air America, he's General Lee.
Air America, yeah, that's a great movie. That's the Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he was in North and the South Book 2. The TV movie.
Oh, my God, dude.
Shit, yeah, Radioactive Dreams. Remember that one?
No.
Oh, you don't remember Radioactive
No.
Dreams? It's in the post-apocalyptic future where these two guys are almost like
Dude, you're the resident.
Yeah,
you're the guy that has seen everything. I'm the guy that has seen a lot, but not anywhere near everything.
The worst part about it is I used to, because they're Philip Hammer and Marlo Chandler. There's guys that are in a post-apocalyptic future.
Now I'm gonna have to.
They look like 1940s like detectives in a post-apocalyptic future.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, again, back in there's a lot of movies that I don't remember that once I watch them, I'm like, oh, okay. When I was like 6 or something like that, I remember something like this. So.
Well, it's one. Well, that's like
Near Dark. You know, I remember just little tidbits of it for the longest time.
Well, this is the one guy that I always thought he was going to be massive at one point because he was everywhere. He was always the villain.
Oh, dude, he's
Benny the Jet. Eucadares.
That's the guy in Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say. Yeah.
But he was a stunt man, and he did stunts. But he also, he's still doing stunts up until 2017. He was in 1408, Pearl Harbor, freaking Street Fighter, Con Air, The Big Hit.
Natural Born. He was in Natural Born Killers.
Gladiator.
Digstown. Gladiator.
Yeah, but he's Roadhouse.
Yeah, Kickboxer 2, the one with freaking.
Yeah, he was the Clawhammer Maniac in 1408. But that guy, he played a villain. He was the Mugger in
Spider-Man. Yeah.
He was the villain in everything.
Yeah.
And he was because he was weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
And he was such a good villain.
You want to talk? Okay, so you want to talk about freaking villains? The quintessential Asian villain.
Yes.
What's his name?
From
Die Hard. Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, he was in Big Trouble in Little China. He was also.
He's in Last Action Hero. He's in you name it. He's pretty much been it. He's got a book. I wonder if they ever finished doing the.
And see, that's another guy that has embraced. Like, he never made it huge.
No, he was just like,
I don't even remember his name. Paul, out of all people, doesn't remember his name.
I normally remember his name, but it's one of the ones for some reason I need to think
something Chow or something.
I need to think about. I think
Donnie Chow or something.
That I need to think about it. I can't.
Just type in Google Asian bad guy. It'll come up.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Nah, I don't know.
He's in everything. Same way. Oh, Al Leung.
Al Leung, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one who was the other bad guy, Gerald Akamaru,
and that's a guy from Teenage Mutant
Ninja
Ninja
Turtles, the
yep,
bald guy.
Yep.
He's also
Attack!
There he is, man. Oh yeah, it was Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Freaking, I'm wearing my stupid Wild Stallions t-shirt. I should have. Genghis Khan.
Wild Stallions.
I love people. I had a guy sitting there at Kroger's one day, and I'm sitting there, I'm standing there waiting in line, and this guy's like,
Get away.
he's like, is that a Wild Stallions t-shirt? I was like, yeah,
Yes,
it is. And I was like, especially when you look at the back and it has all the fictional, like the historical characters names, but they're written like band names.
I say people love this shirt on Instagram. They're like, oh dude, the freaking retro MTV shirt. When MTV actually showed music. Like, yeah, I got it because of splatter paint. I'm a big splatter paint is the new urban camo as far as I'm concerned. So.
You can blend in with the walls. Oh god, damn! He's still putting out movies. He did Death by Midnight in 2020.
Yeah.
He's supposed to. Yeah, it was in Deadwood.
So again, that's another guy that has embraced
what
he is.
He knew he was going to be.
He knew he was never going to be the action star guy, but he has made a hell of a career.
Yep, he's in Lethal Weapon 4. Yep. Hey, look, he's in Godzilla in 1990.
Yep.
Yeah. He's one of the ones that's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna make my living doing this.
But he was a total badass. Like he died some of the best death scenes.
Oh yeah. Well, you know who started out as like this type level, and is now huge. Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah. Danny, Danny was the quintessential Mexican,
the tattooed Mexican cartel guy,
ex-con cartel guy. Yep, for the longest time. And the only reason, dude, you got to give Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah,
Robert Rodriguez looked at him one day and was like, "Dude, I don't understand why." Like everybody knows, like Danny Trejo. Even back then, people knew who. Like you could say Danny Trejo, and people were like, "Oh yeah, that guy."
Or if he did, you go, "Who's the guy with the Mexican guy with
the woman tattoo?" Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yep. But Robert Rodriguez looked at him one day. I remember this story. Robert Rodriguez looked at him one day and was just like, "Dude, I'm going to write you a movie, and you're not going to be the guy in the background. You're going to be the star." And even Danny Trejo was like, "Yeah, no, you're not."
You know what I love about the whole Danny Trejo thing with Machete and shit like that is Machete from the Machete movies is the uncle character Machete from Spy Kids.
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
Same guy.
Yeah. Same guy.
Yep.
Same guy. Just same unitors, same continuity. Because all of Robert Rodriguez's shit is in the same continuity, supposedly.
Yep.
Bandito or whatever you call it, the Desperado universe. Well, what's funny is that he was on the Masked Singer last week.
Who?
Danny Trejo.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was funny because he come out and he was singing, and it was funny because they showed the package, where the hint package, and I'm like sitting there going. As soon as he started singing, I'm like, that's Danny Trejo. And they were like, it's all this. I was like, no, dude, I would bet every penny I own.
He's got that voice, too.
Oh, yeah.
You can't not know his voice. It's like Christopher Walken. As soon as you hear it, you know it's him.
I've known people that have worked with Danny Trejo, and he's, like, legit nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, dude, he's super cool. You know about his donut shop, right?
Yeah, Danny's Donuts.
Or Trejo's Donuts or something.
He says Trejo's Taco. I thought it was Trejo's Tacos and Danny's Donuts.
Maybe it's that. Okay, but he actually like goes there and hands out donuts and stuff like that. Like he'll work at his own shop. I mean, this is a guy that went from the background action and everything else, being the villain that gets killed, to being an action legitimate. And dude, he's old too, man. He's in the 70s. He's almost 80 now. But
I thought he just turned 70.
I'm pretty sure he's past 70. I think he was 75 or something like that. But again, because prison and everything else, you're just going to be 75 and still be jacked. So. But
Machete.
But he's him, and he's his son too. His son is doing a lot of like good things and stuff like that. Like his son's a entrepreneur of some kind too.
1944.
he's older than my dad, and my dad is 71. So he's 75.
Yeah, 75.
76, something like
75,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say because he's 10 years older than 11 years older than my parents.
Yeah. My dad was born in 1950, so my dad's 71. So
yeah, look, he was in Heat as Trejo.
Oh yeah, dude, Heat. Yeah, he was the.
Oh, shit, he kills in space. I'm still waiting for that one.
I know.
I just love the fact that he's just like he's doing movies constantly.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys that knows. I see, Masked Singer, raccoon. He knows that he's his time. You know, he's just like, all right, whatever. I'm doing it.
Oh yeah,
Death Rider in the House of Vampires.
He was in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure as he was in Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, he was on episode of The Connors. He was Danny's Diaries, Danny Trejo, Rescue Reno 911.
Yeah.
He played Danny Trejo in an episode of Dynasty.
Family Guy. Yep, he was.
The Flash. Police. Yeah, he played Breacher. He played the Gypsy's dad.
Yep.
Bare Knuckle Brawler. Oh yeah, Three from Hell. He played Rondo.
Yeah, but yeah, that's another one. Gotta give it to Rob Zombie too. Rob Zombie really put him to use.
Well,
more than what he was used to.
Went through and he took all those guys who hadn't done anything for a while and went, you know what? No, you still do good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he got Ken Foree back in there. He got because
Michael. Hills Have Eyes, the guy with the
Michael
weird
Berryman.
Berryman, yeah, Michael Berryman.
God, Michael Berryman
got him.
Super nice guy.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
Weird though when I met him because I didn't know because I never paid attention, and he's got the disease, the genetic disorder where he doesn't grow hair, and I guess whatever that's connected to, he doesn't have sweat glands either.
Really?
Yeah. So his role in Hills Have Eyes was rough on him. But the thing is, though, is you never pay attention. He has no fingernails.
Yeah.
Because there's no hair. It's still made of the same stuff. But yeah, I'm sitting there like watching, talking to him, and I look down, and I'm like, he doesn't have fingernails. It was like, and it's you know that's part of it, but it doesn't. And then I go back and watch all of his movies, and I'm like, there's no fingernail to be seen anywhere. Unless he's like got prosthetic fingers on, but
all right, Key.
Yeah, go Maze. Maze has been crazy. But this is the one. This is bad because this isn't the 90s. This is 90s, 91.
Oh, Perfect Weapon.
Perfect Weapon. I just introduced Joe to this, and I was like, "Have you watched Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman?" And Joe's like, "What?"
And this is another one. I've seen it, but I haven't seen it probably since 1991.
Oh man, I went and seen that in the theater. But the amount of people that are in this, Mako,
yeah,
James
Mako,
Hong,
yeah.
Mariska Hargitay, I can never pronounce her name. Dante Basco, Bo Starr, Sakai, Professor Toro Tanaka. I know I botch Japanese names all the time. Hiroyuki Takagawa? Tagawa. Carrie, yeah, from Mortal Kombat.
I'm quarter Japanese, so I don't speak it, but I can pronounce it pretty well.
Yeah. So and like all these people are in this movie. This movie is stupid good, and some of the fight scenes were awesome. When he's working out, he's got he's doing it. And it's
yeah.
And he's so
that's again tidbits that I remember. I remember that whole.
And Jeff Speakman was a guy I thought was gonna be massive. This movie did huge. I remember seeing that in the theater, and then he just sort of faded away in the obscurity. I mean, he was in Lionheart as a security guy.
Yep.
And literally, it's like all B-rated stuff. Yeah, he was in Street Night, Perfect Weapon. Yeah, he was, and it's just like, nothing. Same way. Oh yeah, Slaughterhouse Rock. He was in Slaughterhouse.
Going back to like bad guys, quintessential freaking bad guys that you're talking about. Lionheart, the bodyguard guy of the woman with the short hair. I forget his name, but he was a bad guy in Cobra. He was
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Okay,
Yeah.
he was the very first vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He's
the,
also
the TV show.
Yeah, he's also the Brian Thompson, not Johnson. Duh, Brian Johnson's from
Okay, yeah, Thompson. See,
AC/DC.
again.
But he's also in Fright Night 2. Because he's the
well, there's another.
He's the guy that eats bugs. He would sit there and goes and he would sit.
There's another, he started off in horror movies, so there's another horror movie where I think he was the hero. He was the guy at the end that survived and beat it was like a demon movie or something. It was teenagers. They went to.
He was in one of the Mortal Kombat movies.
Yep. Teenagers went to like this house, and this house just had a bunch of demons come out of the woodworks and everything else. And
let's go back here. Oh yeah, he was the alien bounty hunter in X-Files for a bunch of episodes.
Yep.
Soldier of Fortune. But yeah, the judge.
The judge. Well, no, yeah, he was two different characters. He came back.
Yeah,
as
he was
judge.
Luke and then judge. Yeah,
but
he was
Luke,
also in Kindred the Embrace, the TV series.
Yep, Dragonheart. Yeah.
Star Trek,
Hercules, Walker, Texas Ranger, Rage of Honor.
Oh, yeah, he was in Moon 44, Alien Nation,
Nightwish.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's what it was, Nightwish.
Dean.
Nightwish was the one I was talking about where
he's actually the good guy.
Yeah, he wasn't even a bad guy because when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's gonna be what's gonna happen? And then he was actually the good guy. I was kind of disappointed.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, when it gets to him, when it gets to a lot of these guys, they were in a shit ton of movies that no one remembers. They're all character actors. Either that or they're in. That's like the main bad guy in Lionheart. Mustafa. Was it Mustafa?
Yeah.
Michael. Qissi.
Kesey?
He's from Morocco.
Yep.
He was also the bad guy in one of the bad guys in Cyborg. Yeah. He was Tang Po in Kickboxer.
Dude, Cyborg has got one of the best freaking monologues ever. Where that guy is talking, he's like talking about the plague came and they tried to find a cure. A cure? Why? I like this world. I like the pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was Tang Po in the Kickboxer movies. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be Filipino, and he's from Morocco.
Yeah, but he played a good part in that, man. He played a good bad guy.
Oh yeah. And there were so many of these guys who did great.
Yeah, the Cyborg, that the guy with the. Hold on, man. I'm pulling them out. I really am. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what Van Damme's name was, because they're all named after musical instruments. Van Damme's character in Cyborg was Gibson Rickenbacker.
Oh man.
You have Marshall Stratt. You have Pearl Prophet.
What was great about that is they made a Cyborg too. I mean, that movie was horrible in itself.
You know what's crazy about Cyborg?
Angelina Jolie in Cyborg.
Rolf Mueller was Brick Bardo. What's crazy about Cyborg? The reason that movie got made.
Yeah, it was.
It was supposed to be the sequel to Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And it was filmed.
It was
on the set of the unused Spider-Man movie that never got made from Canon Film.
Yep.
Because Canon Film put out. Yeah. Canon Film was the shit when it came to action movies back in the day.
Yeah, you go into a rabbit hole this guy has gone into about movies and stuff like that. You're going to find out some stuff. Cause that's actually how I learned, is listening to your podcast. Is that was the Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe was a great freaking. I don't care what anybody says.
That was
a great movie.
It was so good back in the day, but kids wanted, they wanted the He-Man cartoon that we got, and we got the actual what we got was based on the toys, not on the cartoon.
The makeup was top for back then was top notch. The special effects all the way until the end of it was was spectacular.
When Canon kept going, well, Mattel's paying for this much of the movie, so we can make it for that much. But we'll tell them we're going to make it for $10 million. We're going to make it with $5 million. And then we're going to go like, okay, we got $10 million.
Yeah.
Okay, we keep taking more money away until they got to the end.
That was what were they doing? They were allocating it to another movie.
They were allocating it to the Spider-Man movie. It never happened.
Never happened. Okay, there you go. Yeah, well, there you
go watch Electric Boogaloo. The was it the crazy story of Canon Films?
I think I've caught a little bit of it.
Dude, that is an interesting watch because they talk about when they made the Missing in Action movies with Chuck Norris. Missing in Action 2 was actually the first one. They filmed it. No one liked it. This is why
some of these movies are like, I'm watching them and going, this don't make any sense.
Yeah, it's because it was filmed and they didn't like it. So they made a whole nother movie. And then everybody loved Missing in Action, and so they were like, okay, so they released the second one, which was actually the first one.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's like Twilight Zone, the movie, that one sequence where the guy is like going back in time and everything and stuff like that. Like there's the one sequence where he goes back in time to Vietnam. In the movie, it really doesn't make any sense because nothing really happens. He gets a grenade thrown at him, and then he's back in Nazi land again. If you actually go down the rabbit hole, that guy and 2 kids died. Real life in that movie.
And this is going to say a lot. Go on Shudder. Watch Cursed Films.
Yep, I think it's
the last one, or it's the next to last one.
Yep.
And it's a hard watch.
They're talking about Michael Berryman, The Crow.
Yeah.
He was cut out of the whole freaking movie, and that special effects that they had for him was amazing.
He was the skeleton cowboy.
I'm still hoping because of technology today that someone goes back and says
re-edits him,
does like a director's cut or ultimate cut of The Crow and reinserts Michael Berryman and that whole dead cowboy.
Yeah, the skull cowboy.
Skull cowboy into it.
Yep. But oh my god, sitting there watching that behind the scenes on that one. That one's a hard watch. Like you said, you see the footage.
Yeah.
And it's not.
You see where him and those 2 kids.
They're there, and then they are not there no more.
They're gone.
But no. We were sitting there. I was sitting there because this is action movies even further back. We have the ongoing joke that when it comes down to watching action movies, could I have sat down and watched The Expendables? Yeah, I've watched them. I enjoy the Expendable movies, but if I have a choice between The Expendables and Master Flying Guillotine, I want to watch Master of the Flying Guillotine.
That's my kind of theory too. Is if I have a choice between a new movie and an old movie, I'm gonna watch an old movie. I'm gonna go with the old kung fu flick. I'm gonna go with the old 80s flick. Again, I saw the Expendables. I saw Expendables 1, 2, and 3. I liked all of them.
Yeah.
They were all good in their things. I love the cameos. Again, it's kind of like a throwback to the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing back all the freaking 80s action stars and everything else.
And then they're introducing a lot of the new ones.
And then that's what I really like too, is they kind of melded. They had that what's his name, Liam Hemsworth in there.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Ronda, talent black hole. Rousey.
What I really liked is again, you don't really think of him as a huge action star, but Antonio Banderas, I mean, he did a couple things, this and that, but dude, they brought him into the Expendables, and he was that character was great. I'm sorry, that was the comedic relief, but it was
Antonio Banderas has one of my favorite lines in any action movie ever. When he looks at Salma Hayek and goes, "Have I ever thanked you?" And she goes, "No." He goes, "I will." And he walks off. I was like, that is so great. That's the only line that beats that is Han Solo and Princess Leia. from freaking Empire Strikes Back. He goes, I love you. I know.
One of my favorite like action quotes ever, and you'll know as soon as I say it. You ain't seen bad yet, but it's coming. Next to Ken.
Oh man.
And there's another one, an 80s action star, Patrick Swayze.
The thing is that he went from being an action star, and then all of a sudden he just stopped and became like drama guy.
Then you know where that was, right? You know where that happened?
That was Ghost.
No.
It was right after Roadhouse.
What was first, Ghost or Dirty Dancing?
Oh no, Dirty Dancing. Yeah,
it was Dirty
so it was
Dancing.
yeah. God, fucking
And
the
only reason they picked him for Dirty Dancing, he had been like some sort of professional dancer or something like that, or had been trained as a professional dancer. Same thing with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. If you watch Robert Downey Jr. dance, this is his go-to freaking move. This is all he does. He's actually trained as a professional dancer. Like he knows ballet and all kinds of shit. But when you see him do like videos, this is what he does.
Well, what's funny is that I love the people talking about Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey.
No, they hate
each other. Because they hate each other on the set of Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. They
Yet another action
did
movie.
not fucking like each other.
Oh man. You know, and that's weird when you get great chemistry between people who hate each other.
But that movie brought them together because
they ended up becoming friends. I think after that,
they didn't like each other in Red Dawn, and then they had Jennifer Grey. I think I can't remember the whole story, but they had Jennifer Grey. They wanted to bring in Patrick Swayze. There was a couple other actors that they were thinking about, but they wanted to bring in Patrick Swayze. And they brought them both into like a warehouse or something like that, and they were doing like the couple scenes together. And they both kind of walked away and started talking to the producers and stuff like that. And basically, they're both talking shit about each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're both like, I cannot work with her. And the producer's like, well, we want you, and we want you. You two need to work this shit out. So apparently they went into a room, and for like an hour and a half, they just like talked, and apparently they cried and hugged a lot and stuff like that. But that movie brought them to a friend. They hated each other beforehand. Mm-hmm. After they did that movie, they were fucking really good friends.
Well, what's funny is talk about action stars from the 80s and where he came from. Freaking Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah, dude. Moonlighting? Like, yeah.
That's like, I remember when they were like, the dude from Moonlighting is going to be in an action movie.
That was the exact thing that they said. They were like, we're making this movie. It's going to be about this cop. He's going to be, taking down some terrorists. Oh, who you got? Bruce Willis. The dude from Moonlighting?
That's almost as bad as Batman. Who's going to be Batman? Mr. Mom? The guy from Gung Ho? What?
In all honesty, though, that was genius.
Well, the fact is, you know how close it was to being Bill Murray?
Yeah.
That's insane. I like all these.
I honestly think that a lot of Hollywood, though, thinks, who can we get for this? And then they look at Bill Murray's picture and they're like, nah.
Well, that's like looking at some of these, early concepts of people who they were going to do. Like 2005's Justice League, Immortal, that George Road Warrior Mad Max Miller was going to direct. Armie Hammer was going to be Bruce Wayne Batman. Common was going to be Jon Stewart Green Lantern.
Okay. Actually, I could see that.
Yeah, he'd have been great. He'd have been spot on. Yeah.
I like Cons. What was that? The Western TV show. They're building the railroad track.
Oh, Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels.
Yeah.
I loved him in that.
Yeah.
He's freaking awesome.
DJ Caruso, who's Flint in the second G.I. Joe movie, was cast as Superman.
Brandon Fraser.
Yeah, that was Lieutenant Stone.
Oh, okay.
Bullshit.
Sorry.
That was Flint. I don't know what
That's what I said. When I saw him, he had the beret and everything. I'm like, Flint! And like, Lieutenant Stone? Who the fuck is Lieutenant Stone?
Yep. And, well, he was cast as, let's see if there's any... I doubt it anymore, because they used to have this stuff up. More
Have we been on topic at all? Probably not.
No, we've talked about.
We talked a little. We talked about. We haven't talked about action stars. We've talked about action villains for the most part. But
well, okay. The one
that's still a good show though. So.
Oh yeah. You fucking that's like we have the ongoing joke we would go back and we have to figure out when good action stars stopped being good.
Oh yeah.
And we worked.
We got one of them right there.
Yeah, we got Steven Seagal right there. Steven Seagal. We went back and I was sitting there trying to look, and I don't count the one where he's only as essentially a cameo was an executive decision.
Yeah, he was in it for 5 minutes.
He gets sucked out the airlock.
Yeah, you can't count that one.
But
anyways.
I think what was we came up with the
Fire Down Below.
Fire Down Below was the last.
They had Michael Caine in it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So I mean that one was literally the last. I wouldn't say good one, because it wasn't really that great, but it was the last one that you could watch all the way through without, I don't know, throwing up and going, ew.
Well, he gets all that because he's Russian now, so he gets all that money from Russia to make movies. So he keeps pounding out. He puts out like 8 movies a year.
Yeah, but none of them. Are
none of them are good.
Again,
but
it's not. Again, well, I will tell you this: have you watched Steven Seagal Lawman?
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that dude, you could just listen to Joe Rogan talk about that, and you know it's a great freaking thing to watch. He changes his dialect so if he's in a black neighborhood, he's gonna talk like a black guy.
Yeah.
If he's in a southern Creole, because it's down in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, it's in like parish.
Cajun.
Yep.
That motherfucker's gonna talk like a Cajun.
Yep. And he's.
Which makes for great TV, but the last movie was definitely Fire Down Below. That was the last one.
What was it? We came down to like Van Damme. I think it was The Quest.
The Quest was the last.
Was the last good Van Damme until
VD. See, and then all of a sudden he kind of started making a little bit of a comeback. He did Expendables 2, which you could argue wasn't that great of a movie. But his character was pretty good. I mean, he was like some sort of Satanist terrorist or something like that. He's like, you see this? That is the goat.
Yep. Well, and then he did the sequels to Universal Soldiers, which really doesn't have much to do with the original. But those are brutal as.
Those are good though. Like
that's the
one where they actually brought back Dolph Lundgren too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
When that dude has that fight with the baseball bats, and that's got one of the new guys in it that I think is Scott Adkins.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, he should be. I mean, I know he's putting out movies, but that guy needs to be at something bigger. He needs to be.
They're trying. These are a bunch of like MMA guys and stuff like that are big in MMA. They're trying to make them, again, they're trying to make them like the wrestlers who started making movies like John Cena and The Rock and everything.
Well, you got George St. Pierre, who's now is in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's Bartok the Leaper.
I always thought looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know if anybody else sees that, but I always thought if he was going to be in movies, it would be great if it was like Jean-Claude Van Damme and George St. Pierre, because they are both kind of Belgium and French. Like they could make a movie where they're brothers, and it would be awesome. But we're talking about quotes. One of my favorite quotes ever is a Steven Seagal quote, and it's I think it's Marked for Death. It's the one with the Jamaicans. And he gets back into the car. He gets back into the car, and the guy goes, "What happened?" And he looks at him and goes, "One thought he could fly, the other thought he was invincible. They were both wrong." Oh, man, I love movie quotes, man.
Although my favorite was was from Commando. Remember when I told you I'd kill last? I lied.
But that's one, again. And that was another thing about the 80s action flicks. The one-liners.
Oh, yeah.
Commando. Let off some steam, Bennett. Well, I got him what's his name?
Yeah, the dude from he's also in Mad Max.
Yeah, he's the Mohawk. He's Wes.
Wes, yeah.
That he's in
He's in
Weird Science
as Wes.
as Wes again, freaking everything. But Vernon Wells.
Yes.
Vernon Wells is on Instagram, and I once posted up a picture of Wes, and it was just him screaming like that, and it was when this whole COVID thing was going on, so it was like last year, and I was like, "Is it time for us to put on football pads and assless chaps?" The dude saw my picture, and he commented, which was the greatest moment of my life because he commented, he put "always," and I was like, "Yes, I love you."
What was it? I posted around the same time with all that thing, and there was the picture of Lord Humongous, and I was sitting there. He's like, "So we start dressing like this now?" Because in the Mad Max timeline, Mad Max Fury Road takes place right about now, which doesn't make up for Lord Humongous because that would have been in the 80s. Well, in like the 90s. But there's a picture. I was like, yeah. And somebody posted something. I was like, well. I posted something about assless chaps, and they're like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Well, they make me feel comfortable, and they get a lot of air."
I tell you what, though, if the apocalypse does happen, Hollywood has warped it to the fact that people will dress like that.
Yeah, they're definitely.
If something happens to where we have like a total collapse of this society, you will see people out there with freaking hockey masks, wearing bondage.
Dude, if there's an apocalypse tomorrow, there's gonna be a Paul running around somewhere with fucking cobbled together stormtrooper armor.
You've seen the end? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, this is the end
with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, and Danny McBride.
Danny McBride has got he
the
foreshadows it. He's like something about I'd fuck Channing Tatum or something like that, and then at the end there's this dude in a freaking mask and everything. He's just barking or whatever and everything else, and then he looks up and he takes off the mask. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's Channing Tatum." Oh man, I love it. There's all those guys who did a shit ton of movies that were just background guys. Yeah, Vernon Wells. But Vernon Wells is still making. He just did a movie this last year during the whole COVID thing or whatever. It's supposed to be pretty good. So
that was the other person who was going to be in, not Vernon Wells, but Morton Joe.
Yeah,
that was going to be Martian Manhunter in Justice League Immortal.
Man, that sucks because he died.
Yeah, he died. Yeah, and he was Toe Cutter in the original.
I am the Knight Rider. Toe cutter nose.
Yep.
And then he does this to the one guy. He's like, man, yeah.
See,
yeah, Scott acted. Yeah, Scott.
That guy is.
He needs to get his agent out there and.
I mean, look at this. Look at these movies. It's like.
Yep. But then again, they're all like.
He did Hard Target too.
Like Hitman, and
he was in Jarhead 3. Re-Kill.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing, man. He's doing all these
Metal Hurlong Chronicles, which is heavy metal, the live action.
He's doing all these movies. He's doing it.
Ninja.
He's doing it like the guys in the 80s did. He's doing all these Expendables too. Like
he was.
But he wasn't like one of the main guys. So
that's how a lot of these guys they either there's some guys that just languish. Like luckily Van Damme, because he was background guy. He was gay karate guy in a movie. Then he was in was it Black Eagle?
Black Eagle, where he was well, I mean, was he really a bad guy? He was the bodyguard of the bad guy.
Yeah. And that was
he was in love with the chick.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually like, this was like a whole subplot or something in that movie, which was weird. But they were actually going to leave.
Yep.
Like, he didn't care. Like, he was supposed to be the bad guy, but he was the bad guy that didn't care what happened to the actual bad guy.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be with the woman, and they were going to leave until the one dude kicked his ass and he died.
And then, but the best part, yet another one, Sho Kosugi.
Yep.
Because I just watched a shit ton of his movies because I bought the ninja movies, and then he's in one of my favorite movies of all time just because it's insane. It is insane, and that is Ninja 3: The Domination.
The Domination, yep.
Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja. And
he's one of
the
those
Master.
Yeah.
He was in that.
He's one of these guys that if it's got martial arts in it, he's probably somehow in it.
I got Pray for Death and Rage of Honor.
Yep.
He was in Godfather 2, and he was in Bruce Lee Fights Back from the Grave.
Which had Bruce Lee L.I. or something like that because it wasn't actually Bruce Lee or something.
I had to sit down at the shop a while back because I was watching Bruce Lee Fights Back from the Grave, and they're like, "What is this? Is it Bruce?" I was like, "Well, see, there was the Bruce Lee exploitation films, and they got any actor who kind of looked like Bruce Lee." Yep. And sometimes
they were all named Bruce Lee, but it was all different. Like Lee was Leigh Lea.
John Chung was Wong Han as but they had all these people, and there was this huge was it the many deaths of Bruce Lee or the I was watching like nothing but the Bruce Lee knockoff movies one day, and they're like, what the hell? Because they had the one that's literally got pictures from his funeral in it. Mm-hmm. And people are like, they allowed that? I'm like, it's China.
Yeah, they didn't. There's nothing that says that they couldn't do it, so they did it.
Because it was filmed for public use. It's filmed for the news, and they just went ahead and used it anyway. So, holy shit, we're in an hour and 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, that's all right. We're going to go ahead and put a pause in here for a minute.
And we're going to get back on track.
We're going to try to get on back track and finish this thing up.
We're totally lying.
Yeah, that'll never happen. I will be right back with you.
Announcing Pound Puppy's newborns.
Pound Puppy, you're so sad and lonely. Dry your tears, now you're my one and only. Pound Puppy, you're my newborn baby puppy love.
These newborns need special loving care. You can diaper and dress them in cozy outfits. Pound Puppies and outfits sold separately. And take them visiting or sing them their very own lullaby.
Pound Puppy, you're my one and only puppy love.
Pound Puppies newborns, new from Tonka.
Make way for the red, white, and bull. Make way for Captain America.
Pull it!
The red-blooded ex-Marine with nerves of steel and a backbone to match.
You're all gonna die.
It's the neutron bomb.
Steve Forrest, the arch-enemy scientist.
We detonate the bomb at exactly 11:58.
A doomsday showdown and a deadly race against time for Captain America.
Monday at 8 on 33's Fry Movie.
The Great Basketball Playoff starring Ronald McDonald.
And those chicken McNuggets.
And Ronald makes the first basket. Now the McNuggets make a basket. The score's all tied up and the crowd's going wild. Ronald moves in for a dunk.
Barbecue sauce, McDonald's barbecue sauce here.
And the McNuggets go for a dunk.
And you didn't even dribble.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Rock lords, rocks that come alive. Rock lords, fighting to survive. Living rocks with strength and might. Rising up to crash and fight. Rock lords, powerful living rocks.
You control their appearance, but no force in the universe can contain the power and the fury of Rock Lords.
Shaking, quaking, crashing, breaking. Rock lords, powerful living rocks.
Each sold separately from Tonka.
Kids, help! Time for a balanced breakfast with Cheerios.
You got to go with Cheerios, and the Cheerios that help you grow. So feed me your Cheerios.
Do you believe in magic? You will with your next box box of Cheerios. Free inside is a magic trick, like this disappearing coin trick. 7 tricks in all, 1 free in marked boxes of Cheerios. Now do you believe in magic?
You bet I do.
And we are back for our last segment here.
We have returned to our previously scheduled program.
I want to talk about one of my favorite underrated action stars of all time, Cynthia Rothrock.
Okay, she was in Double Impact, right?
Yeah,
She was the woman with the thighs.
She was also
There it is. Just popped up.
there you go. She was in Dukes of Hazzard, one of the made for TV Return to Hazard or whatever.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever was. I was a huge Dukes of Hazzard fan growing up. But yeah, I never watched the Return movies or anything like that.
She was famous because she did the China O'Brien movies.
Okay.
And she was in a ton of those. And why is this not loading? Let's exit out of that. But Cynthia, I met her a while back, and super nice. But she was so awesome back in the day. Let's see. China O'Brien's was her big. The last of the action heroes. Tiger Claw movies.
Okay, Tiger Claw, yeah.
Rage and Honor.
Eye for an Eye, I remember that.
Lady Dragon. Martial Law. Brian.
Was this the chick that was in Double Impact?
No, I don't think it was. Let's see if we can. I'm trying to remember who was in Double Impact.
I thought her name was Cynthia. See, this is where again I've seen the movies.
They blur together. I thought I was thinking it was too, but it's been so long since I watched Double Impact. Even though
my memory is not what it used to be either. So
mine is.
I think what was it? Man, there was a movie where I was
Emerson is Kara. Oh yeah, Bolo Young.
Yeah, Bolo. Yeah,
yeah, he was freaking out. Have you seen the pictures of his son, who looks just like him back in the day? And he's just ginormous.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Cynthia Rothrock, man, she was the shit back in the day. And I think I still got a whole bunch of her old VHS tapes. Yeah, there she was, Bertha Joe in the Dukes of Hazzard reunion TV movie.
Dukes of Hazzard reunion.
Yeah, she was in
Hercules.
One of Hercules. The Untouchable 2 video game as Lady Dragon. But yeah,
I remember Tiger Claws. I remember that a little bit. See, these are some movies again. When you get into the really obscure ones and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah.
See, I've watched so much, and the thing is, I got hooked on a lot of these, the Hong Kong action movies, and I've watched so much of that stuff. So like early Chow Yun Fat, Michelle Yeoh, Gordon Liu.
Mm-hmm. Gordon Liu, yeah, but that's 36 Chambers. That's dude, he was Gordon Liu, he's done a lot.
Yeah,
he was in Kill Bill.
Yep.
Wasn't he like multiple?
Yeah, he was
characters.
Yeah. he was in two different characters in two different versions. Because he plays.
Well, yeah, he played one of my favorite. Yeah, one of Pai Mei.
Yeah,
dude, he played Pai Mei in the Kung Fu movie universe is one of the best characters. I mean, dude, you're talking about, was that White Lotus?
Yep.
Eagle Claw. I can't remember some of the other freaking movies. Like, he's been in there. had been in a bunch of them. Now, Gordon, the original guy, is in all those. Gordon Liu played a version
of him,
but did a fantastic job. Because as soon as I saw him, it was like Master Pai Mei. I was like, because they were talking about like Uma Thurman and David Carradine were in the fire or whatever, and they were talking about it before you even saw him, and he was like, "Oh, Pai Mei, he's an old bastard, you know, this and that, blah blah blah." And I was like, "This is Pai Mei then? Is it?" And it was.
well, that's like you get all the people who have portrayed, especially in the Japanese cinema, Jubei. Basically, he's like almost like a Robin Hood type character in Japan. Iron Monkey, like he's
Yep.
So, or the Jet Li was. God dang, I'm getting a text from Mark here. Yep.
Stop it, Mark. This is my show.
Tell me
you come in and do your own show, Mark.
Complain about prices of Magic cards because they suck right now. So, oh man.
But you know what did it for Kung Fu for me? You know what started it all? And I got to think, RZA, Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, in all honesty, man, they're the ones that, I'm not going to say that Kung Fu was dead, but for kids, teenagers in the 90s, if it wasn't for Wu-Tang Clan,
dude,
we never would have known what these Kung Fu movies
I have a shit ton of the VHS tapes in my collection that are the when Wu-Tang Clan was releasing all the Kung Fu. So it's Wu-Tang Clan Presents.
That was the thing. Like they were rappers. They named themselves after all these characters from the thing and everything. But they went beyond that. It wasn't just, we love Kung Fu movies, so we're going to kind of use some of the sound bites and stuff like that for the mixing and the hip hop and everything else. It was RZA was like, no, I want to freaking literally release some of these that you can't get.
Yeah.
You're never going to get. I'm going to find them. I'm going to put them on VHS and we're going to release them. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, they're great. Some of them, don't get me wrong, some of the subtitles and some of them are really bad subtitles, but
it's still like that today,
cheap,
man. You can. That's why I don't I can't I rather just listen to the dubbed. I know it's messed up, but I'd rather just listen to the dub that's already in English, because even if you were to read the subtitles and the dubbed, the subtitles are totally different from the dub, and it's the same language.
Well, what's funny is when you get to the fact is some of the movies were released over here in America, and they never. And they just got the movie and then went, okay, and they made up all the dialogue for the movie as they went along, at least here in America.
Oh man, that's like Voltron. You and I have had this conversation. When I was a kid, I loved Voltron. I couldn't get enough of it. I loved everything about it. And then here, back in 2007, I got the box set or whatever, and I started watching it. And I got 3 episodes in, and I was like, I used to watch this. It's horrible. It's just every episode is the exact same.
Oh, yeah, it's exact.
You can literally put 3 episodes up on a screen, episode, and you're going to get the same cut here, over here, and over here, but it's a totally different story. And it's oh my God, that was just the worst thing ever. But it's kind of the same thing with these Kung Fu movies. They just what was that where they renamed all these movies in Italy and stuff like that, and then they're released someplace else and there's another name, and then you don't know that, so you rent them both or something like that, and you find out they're both the same movie. They did that with Kung Fu movies too. There's a bunch of Kung Fu movies out there that got
that's
3 different names.
The 5 Deadly Venoms 2, the Return of the Deadly Venoms.
Okay.
That has a different name.
Well, even that one, for the longest time, I remember it being 5 Deadly Venoms, and now they're calling all of a sudden. Now they're just calling it 5 Venoms.
Yeah, Yeah, I've got a VHS tape, and there's 5 Deadly Venoms on my VHS tape.
Yep.
You get Legend of the Crippled Masters, and there's 2 movies that are under Legend of the Crippled Masters. One is the ones with the people who, like, the guy can't hear, the guy can't see, the guy's blind, the guy's deaf. But Legend of the Crippled Masters, the other one that they got is the guy who has no arms and the guy who has no legs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kung fu guys.
Yep.
There's 2 of them. You know,
they did it to a Bruce Lee movie.
Game of Death has a shit ton of different.
Yeah, different names, but I think the Big Boss too was.
It was the Big Boss, and it was Fist of Fury.
Yeah,
because Fist of Fury and Chinese Connection.
Yeah, Chinese Connection. There you go. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, a lot of this stuff. Yeah, you start getting down that rabbit hole trying to find movies that you're like, well, what movie?
I get so upset though when I'm like, oh my god, it's a movie I haven't seen, and then I start watching, and it's like, no, this isn't that movie. I know what this movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
fuck.
Our favorite one is the La Casa movies.
Yeah, the house.
That is literally Evil Dead 1, 2, The House 1, 2. It's like, and then the demon movies. So those are always fun over in Italy.
Yeah, the Italy is they screwed up so man. The zombie, Dawn of the Dead.
Yep.
Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and then they renamed them into other things.
Dawn of the Dead is zombie in Italy.
And then Zombie 2
is zombie everywhere else.
Yep. Very confusing. You really got to watch it because then you're going to end up with 4 copies of the same freaking movie.
Snake Plissken.
There you go. Yeah, Kurt Russell.
John McClane. Here we go. We're going to go down the top 20. At least this guy's top 20 here. Number 20, Snake Plissken. Kurt Russell.
Yep. You know what I loved about that was when he did Captain Ron, he had the
eye patch.
Still.
John McClane, number 19.
The guy from Moonlighting. I mean, my God, dude. And then he just ended up just like, for some reason, it worked.
Yep.
And you know what? Again,
well, because he played.
You know why it worked? The one-liners in that.
Well, that and he played an everyday dude.
But
because he wasn't jacked. He wasn't.
That's true too. Yeah, he was just he was a
balding, non-jacked guy. He was a beat-up old detective.
But he did again. You know, he had that New York attitude.
Yep.
You know, he was a cop from New York. You know, he had that from the very beginning, even when he was on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And the guy saw that gun and he got pale-faced and he looked down and he was like, relax, I'm a cop. You know, I mean, you knew this guy ain't going to take shit about nothing. He's got a gun on him on a plane. And even back in the 80s, that wasn't allowed.
No.
Like, that shit had to be locked up and underneath.
Yep. Nico Toscani from Steven Seagal.
Yeah, that's,
from
Nico is,
Above the Law.
Above the Law, yep.
Max Raktansky from Mad Max. Mel Gibson back before he kind of lost.
And I tell you what, this is one of those things where I was growing up because my parents, we had a huge VHS collection, but our VHS collection was all bootlegs.
All recorded off of TV.
All recorded off of TV.
Yep.
So when I was in school, everybody was talking about Mad Max. They were like, "Oh, the Road Warrior, Max. Have you seen that?" I always thought they were talking about the original one because I had seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in my school, at least around this area and stuff like that, had any freaking clue that Road Warrior was an
Max
actual sequel.
Yep.
Now, they do now.
Yep.
But back then, I'm like, oh, you mean the one where Toe Cutter and this and that? And they're like, Toe Cutter, no, Lord humongous. I was like, oh, you mean a sequel? And they're like, sequel?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you do know there was another movie before that.
Here's what RoboCop. Peter Weller. Peter Weller. People forgot he was an action guy too. He did. He did what? The Shakedown with him and Sam Elliott.
Yep. And he's still making. He did Sons of Anarchy here a few years ago.
Well, what's funny about him, he directs more now, and he's also like.
Isn't he returning as a RoboCop?
No, he's making RoboCop, the Neil Blomkamp supposedly RoboCop, which is going to be a direct sequel to the original RoboCop, but he won't be RoboCop because he's too old.
I thought maybe they were doing like what they do nowadays,
I
which
think he's
is
doing
so
the voice.
easy. They're going to superimpose his face on someone else's or something like that, because that's real easy to do now.
Yep.
Yep. Well, yep. J.J. McQuaid,
from
dude, I want
McQuaid.
his vest in that movie. That it's a flak jacket without the Kevlar in it, so it's just the nylon.
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
Matt Hunter.
And you see, and this is where you get, Chuck
Invasion
Norris,
USA.
Chuck Norris, 1980s. You couldn't beat Dutch from
Predator.
Predator,
number 13. Lieutenant Nikola Rachansko.
Scorpion.
Yeah,
Red
Scorpion.
Yep. Dolph Lundgren.
Back when he was Cobra.
Yeah, Marion Cobretti. Or what was
Cobretti.
Cobretti, is that what it was?
Marion
I can't
Cobretti,
remember, dude. Yeah, that one was dude. That knife that's in that movie.
Riggs
that
and
car that was in that movie.
Oh, he had that truck and the car.
The Mercury in that movie.
Riggs and Murtaugh.
There
we go. Another Chuck Norris, Major Scott McCoy.
Yeah.
From Delta Force.
See, whoever this guy is, obviously he's just.
They just love it. Oh, Indiana Jones is number 8.
I'd give it that. Yeah.
Oh, Joe Armstrong. That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Michael Dudikoff, Michael Dudikoff is number 7.
That's actually very good that they put him in there, though, because again, all these other guys, Arnold Schwarzenegger, right there.
Yeah.
He's right below Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Oh.
So.
Yep.
Chow Yun Fat.
Freaking the killer. John Woo's the killer.
Yep.
Oh my God, I love that movie. That Killer and Hard Boiled. Those are the two that got me. John Matrix, Commando.
Matrix, another. Yep.
The 87 kills in there.
Death Wish.
Paul Kursky.
Charles Bronson. That's one of my favorite dudes ever, right there, man. I'm here to kill you.
There we go. Yep. Number 2. Yet again.
Another Chuck. See, this guy is just a big Chuck Norris fan. That's
Colonel
all
James
it is, man.
Braddock.
There's so many more.
Oh yeah, there's
action stars, man.
John Rambo.
Number 1 is John Rambo. That's arguable.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, yes, back then Rambo was.
He was
the shit.
Oh man, but there's other okay.
Michael Bain. Michael Bain was in a bunch.
We got Cobretti. We got Stallone as Cobretti and Rambo.
Yeah. There's got to see, for me, if I'm going to make a list, I'm going to make a rule that if I put an actor, this guy did characters.
Yeah.
This guy obviously is a huge Chuck Norris fan, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put in a rule for my top 20, which if we had actually planned this out, besides freaking me calling you and saying, "Hey, I'm on vacation. You want to do a podcast?"
Yep. Sit down and actually document.
I would have thought out and wrote down maybe a top 20 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have done the same actor twice. I would have made sure that this would have went from one aspect to a whole nother aspect.
Oh yeah.
And it might not have been in order. I don't think I can put a top 20. Because and you're talking about movies too, man. I mean, hell, Tango and Cash wasn't even in there.
No. I was gonna say because you got
a great one.
Because you got Rambo and you got Cobra, but you didn't have. Yeah.
You know what? In May, I'm on vacation again. I don't know if I'm leaving the state or not or whatever.
Okay.
Let's do a villain, like an 80s villains, top 80s villains freaking thing or something like that, like top 10 or something like that.
Because there we go. Because you'd have to have Arnold in the Terminator.
Yeah, see, again, villain.
Yep.
But, I mean, it was an action star.
Okay, Mel Gibson, Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal,
Patrick Swayze,
Roger Moore.
Patrick Swayze would be another one. Roadhouse?
Mm-hmm.
That was in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Next to Kin, he did a bunch of
Next to
really
Kin
good ones. Again, Red Dawn.
Oh yeah.
You can even put Charlie Sheen in there.
Yep.
I mean, again, top 10.
No.
Again, I'm a Marine veteran. Okay, for veterans, Charlie Sheen is probably in the top 10 because every single veteran in America has seen Navy SEALs. All right,
Ooh, Navy
they're
SEALs.
all going to be like, yeah,
Michael Biehn.
yeah, they're all going to be like, the best movie ever is Navy SEAls. The guy from Allstate is in it.
Let's see. Here's their top 10 '80s action heroes: Stallone,
Stallone is number
Schwarzenegger,
1 again.
Sigourney Weaver is
I
3.
see, and I'm glad about that because she literally was like the first
American female action star.
well, I would say the first one where accepted. How's that?
Yeah.
Female action star.
Kurt Russell is number 4. Number 5 is Chuck Norris. Number 6 is Harrison Ford. Number
Harrison
7,
Ford,
Mel Gibson. Number 8, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Number 9,
Peter
Weller. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Don Johnson and freaking Mickey Rourke.
Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke, man. Again, that's another one where one of my favorite quotes ever is when they're talking about Mickey Rourke's gun. And he's like, this is what I learned on. And John Johnson's like, hell, no one learns on that. And he was like, I did. And then he shoots it because he's like, you spend like $1.25 every time you shoot that damn thing.
I love when they're in a shootout. He's doing the boom. There's $1.25. Boom, $2.50.
And then he's like, I spend like 15 cents every time I shoot my gun. And then in the middle of the shootout, he looks at him and goes, I just shot one guy. How much did I spend? He was like, you spent about $4.50 and you shot one guy. He was like, I spent 32 cents and I got 5 of them.
Not anymore though. 9mm rounds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Nah, these days 9mm rounds are $1 a round.
Yep.
You can sit there and be like, "What'd you learn on 22?"
That's what I learned on 22. Charles Bronson, Steven Seagal. God, this looks rough, man. He just needs to quit. Fat bloated.
He is trying to stay relevant and young. He needs to go gray. You know what would be great? Steven Seagal goes gray, does the Pai Mei kind of fucking thing. Long gray hair, long gray beard. He would be excellent in it. But he was pretty good in Machete.
Yeah.
I mean, he again, I thought it was kind of like almost his comeback.
Yeah.
That was kind of almost John Travolta in Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you thought his career was dead. Boom. Brought it back. Not so much, though, because he hasn't really done anything since then. I think he missed out.
He just kind of shoots himself in the foot every once in a while.
Yeah.
He's still, like, super jacked and ginormous.
Now, I tell you what. Sylvester Stallone going from Rocky to Creed was genius.
Mm-hmm.
To having the son of Apollo Creed. He's not boxing anymore, but he's still in it. And then in Creed 2, bringing back Ivan Drago. I love that movie. That was great.
They were supposed to bring back Mr. T.
Nick Nolte. That's not Nick Nolte, is it? No.
It's a clip.
That's what you call a banana. That's not a clip, man. It's
a magazine. Yeah. That would just... Dude, you couldn't fire that, man. That would burn up that barrel.
Oh, there's Vernon Wells.
Vernon Wells right there. Holy shit. But man, I'll tell you what. There's...
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Why isn't Clint Eastwood the Dirty Harry?
Yeah, but...
What was it, like...
Tightrope and
well, I mean, only one of them was made in the 70s, or maybe two of them.
No, a bunch of them were.
Okay, they were?
Yeah, Dirty Harry, the Enforcer.
I got the books. I got the original novels. I got all 11 of them.
You know what's weird? This is going back to Die Hard. This is brother. You know who was originally supposed to be John McClane?
Oh, who was it? Old guy. He was super old. Frank Sinatra.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra.
Because Frank Sinatra played the character that character's based on in another movie.
Backing up.
Yeah, and they had to give him first dibs at playing Michelle Yeoh, at playing that character because it was in his contract. And I was like, and he's like, no, I don't need to do it. And of course, it was the best thing ever is to have him say no. And Michael Dudikoff in
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. I mean, yeah, I'm not a huge. I love Top Gun. I love Days of Thunder. I don't really like his new stuff.
People forgot Sam Elliott was pounding
Sam
out
Elliott,
action movies
yep.
back in the day.
Sam Elliott's another one.
But she was in the 70s. But Pam Grier.
Pam Grier.
Pam Grier.
Pam Grier's another one. Again, you gotta give it to Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, man. They brought back some people.
Oh, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Fred Williams again.
Oh, Fred the Hammer Williams.
Yeah, again, freaking
Robert
Quentin
Rodriguez.
Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, man.
Yep.
Just brought that guy back.
Look at Keanu Reeves, man. Because Point Break.
Yeah, you know, Keanu Reeves now definitely huge star. Back then,
he was Ted from Bill and Ted.
Yeah, exactly. In every movie, even in Speed, he was still that guy that had that surfer voice, dude.
Yep.
You know, like I'm gonna jump on the bus. We're gonna jump it.
Everybody forgets the lost action hero from the 80s. Barry Bostwick in Megaforce.
Yep, Barry Bostwick, yeah.
Megaforce was so cheesy, but I love that movie. I've been trying to find
That was a good one. That was the one with the weird looking cars and
Yep,
stuff like that.
the ones that did it. Yep.
Another one again, you know, going back to weird cars and Death Race 2000 or whatever, David Carradine. David Carradine was, you know, a great freaking action guy.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he did Kung Fu and, you know, some TV shows and stuff like that, but he still did, you know, some great fucking
I remember
movies.
when I finally got to meet David
Cannonball.
Carradine.
I don't know if that was 70s, though. That might have been 70s.
He did Death Sport, which was supposed to be the sequel to Death Race, but everybody forgets that exists.
Yep. Actually, what's that called now? Is a Battle Truck or something like that,
No,
too, right?
no,
Or was
Battle
that-
Truck was completely different.
Okay, but Battle Truck was name a different name.
Yeah, Battle Truck was
Exterminators from the year 3000 or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. See,
literally, I own the dual box set
Mhm.
with both of them in there.
I used to, so that might be mine that you got from me. I don't know.
But holy shit. Yeah, see, there was another thing is that a lot of these guys came over and they did a handful of movies, and they were big action stars overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, everybody makes fun of, like David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff did a lot of movies over in Europe.
Yep.
And he was an action star in Europe. That's why he came over here and became Michael Knight.
By the way, Kung Fury, his
Yeah,
song,
Warlords from the 21st century.
his song True Survivor,
Yep,
is one of the greatest freaking songs ever made. I don't care what anybody says. I can listen to that song 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm serious, man. I don't know what it is, man, but
there we go. Michael Beck. That was one of them I was thinking about that I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Warriors.
Warriors from Warriors.
Yep.
And he was the lead guy in Battle Truck.
Mm-hmm.
He was also Dallas in freaking Megaforce.
Yep.
He was in Jag.
Jag.
That dude is still pounding out. Warriors, the last sub I read. Oh yeah, he was still putting out stuff in 2015. Walker, Texas Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Robin's Hood.
And again, Walker, Texas Ranger is another one of those TV shows that if you were in the martial arts or action star thing, that you did a lot of guest star, you guest starred in that.
You know what series people forget about was a great series if you liked like martial arts stuff? Vanishing Sons.
Never even heard of it.
Oh goddamn, Vanishing Sons.
Yep.
It was in syndication.
Again, another thing. This guy, man, he
Dude,
just
I am a
he is a human computer of everything that is ever made as far as like media.
There you go. TV series. 13 episode syndicated show, was produced in 94, 95. It had Russell Long in it.
Speaking of thing, I sent you that thing on Messenger. TNT, Canadian TV show with Mr. Freaking T. 3 seasons, 65 episodes. I had no idea that existed until I saw it on Tubi, and I was like, "What is this?"
Well, that's
I was a huge A-Team fan. Like, Like
the one that killed me is I didn't realize that it had gotten made, and it exists somewhere. It's under Lost Media, but I guess it does exist in Warner Brothers somewhere. And the pilot exists on the box set for Blazing Saddles. But essentially, the Blazing Saddles TV series.
really,
Yeah.
Nice.
Warner Brothers wanted to keep the rights to that. Well, and on the contract was they had to continue to make they had to keep
That's
the
how
character,
they do it,
and
yeah.
so they did it. And Louis Gossett Jr. was in it.
There's another guy, Louis Gossett.
Yeah,
Jr.
Iron Eagle.
From it. Yeah.
Oh man, and Enemy Mine, and
It was just Jaws 3.
Jaws 3. Yeah.
Man.
Roy Scheider.
Enemy Mine is one of my favorites. That's the Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid and
Enemy Mine is one of my favorite ones.
Roy Scheider back in the day, Blue Thunder,
Jaws.
Jaws. He was in the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane as the Punisher's dad.
Punisher's dad, yes.
He fucking taking out people in a firefight.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my god, I'll stop looking up stuff. I'm gonna keep continuing to keep this going. But yeah, see, I was a big fan of these like TV series that because Vanishing Sons had made for TV movies and it became a series.
Yeah, I mean, I know like a couple obscure, but I know the obscure ones that everybody knows. Briscoe County Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Briscoe County Jr. It's got Bruce the Chin Campbell. I mean, it's got I don't remember his name, but he was in The Last Dragon. Sure enough, Kiss My Converse. All right, dude, that guy is awesome.
Well, what's funny is I met T-Mac, the guy that played in The Last Dragon. T-Mac.
Yep, and there's another movie that was it was a Bruce Lee style.
Nice guy. He got the glow.
And that right there was a beautiful.
It was
homage
to
Bruce Lee. It really was.
He was Leroy Green. Yep. Bruce Leroy. Vanity was in it.
Yeah, Vanity. Oh man.
Julius Carey was showing up.
Yep.
God, he was in a bunch of stuff.
Oh man, he's freaking awesome. But again, Briscoe County Jr. only lasted like a season, 2 seasons, something like that.
Yeah, 93 to 94, 1 season.
I'm one that always like Freaks and Geeks,
mm-hmm.
And that was another one that only lasted like 2 seasons or 1 season or something like that. Like,
my favorite one was the little thing that they made up online, and it says it has Kreese, the Cobra Kai dojo from back in the 80s, and it says, "Students, we have some visitors for us," and then it pans around and there's shown up and his crew. Ah, god dang. Cobra Kai. Just think we wouldn't have Cobra Kai.
And see, yeah.
People forget that.
And I saw your last podcast. I don't understand the hate on it. Like, it's a great continuation to find out what happened to these characters,
mm-hmm.
because, again, it fills in some gaps and everything, because
mm-hmm.
you knew that Daniel thought that John Kreese was dead.
Mm-hmm.
He was told he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
That he had died. Actually, Johnny was told that he was dead.
Yeah, everybody was told he was dead.
Everybody was told that he was dead. And then he shows up in this TV show, because everybody that watched it knows, but it fills in that gap of the characters that the characters don't know and stuff.
Well, and also is giving Kreese that backstory. Like when he was in Nam and shit, and he had to fight to stay alive, and had to basically kill his own fight. But spoiler alert. Man, I'll tell you what. Though, you watch him; he walks around with his gi, and he holds that. But you
still does that, man.
You see his giant arthritic knuckles. It's like, man, he'd hit you, he'd knock you out, but he'd break his hands if he did.
True. I mean, again, he is an old guy, but I'm glad that they're bringing back all the old characters. Like,
supposedly for the next season, they're going to bring back some of the other the kids from the bad guys from Karate Kid 3.
Yep.
And
and see, that was another guy right there, the bad kid, the bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember his name or whatever. I can't remember,
because 3 is kind of...
That was the movie that was supposed to take off for him.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing happened. Where did that guy go?
Well, what I think's funny is that they're in negotiations with Jackie Chan. So that, which is funny because it's the Karate Kid, but he teaches him kung fu. So
The new Karate Kid, I would just skip.
I know, but if they brought Jackie Chan in, I'd be fine. But if they brought
that was again another movie where
that was a paycheck movie.
Well, yeah, but Jackie Chan is one of those guys that if you bring him in, it's worth watching. It's he's always going to, whether it's the bloopers at the end or whether it's just he's a good actor. He really is. He's gone.
Have you ever seen the movie with him and The Foreigner?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. And that's like, there's no comedy in it. It's dark as shit. It's brutal. But it's a great movie. So, but we are way the fuck past time. So we're going to go ahead and tie this one up tonight. I'm going to put this out there again because I keep forgetting to. Remember when we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, I will be giving away a copy of DC's Metals hardback, trade paperback. If we hit 100 subscribers on Podbean, I will give away a copy of Road to Metal hardback, brand new trade paperback. And when we hit 500 followers on Twitter, I will give away a copy of Uncanny Avengers hardback trade paperback. So we're still falling for that. Although we're coming close on YouTube, so we're like
I watch
75.
I picked one platform because you're on all of them.
Yeah.
I watch you on YouTube or listen to you on YouTube because it's just the easiest for me. I'm not on Twitter. Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna twat on Twitter.
I didn't want to, but then I was able to start pushing more, and it worked. So and I was able to contact people I hadn't been able to get a hold of other ways. So
Yeah. I do the same thing through like Facebook. The only reason I have a Facebook is to have the friends that I either served with or were in high school or the guys that I know now from work and stuff like that. So
see, I keep telling my wife I need to because I use wrestling terms. I was like, my Facebook I have now, which is my personal Facebook, is about to become my kayfabe Facebook, and then I will have a shoot Facebook page, which will just be for my actual friends, family. I will actually post pictures of my family and my kids. Because not that I want to put that out there a whole lot, but a lot of people know me through the store, through here, and through other stuff. And I don't really like putting pictures of my kids and stuff out there. I mean, my kids, 3 of them are adults, but Vince is my youngest, and I don't really want people to know.
So that's what I do on Instagram. It's like it I do stories and stuff that kind of go in between both of them and stuff like that. But my Instagram page, it's like I'm a different person. It's like my alter ego. So I am El Guno Loco on Instagram. So I'm just a whole totally different person than what it is in real life and stuff like that. Like it's an exaggerated wrestling kind of deal for me.
I could go by my former luchador name. El Diablo Blanco.
I've got luchador.
The White Devil.
Next time we come in, I'll bring both my freaking luchadors. We'll do the whole freaking podcast in luchador.
I had luchador masks. I drove all the way from Columbus to Dayton wearing a luchador mask, driving down the interstate, and I'd go.
Same thing, man. Yeah.
No one. People would look at you and they'd be like, "What's the guy wearing a?"
You want to talk about obscure freaking movies? The old Mexican luchador.
Dude, I love the Santos movies.
Oh my god, dude!
We got them the Samson ones.
Remember when I tell you that I don't like reading the subtitles?
Mm-hmm.
Those are ones that I'll read the subtitles for, only because absolutely there's no dub versions that I can find. So I used to have
a whole bunch of them. And not one word of English and no subtitles. You just watch them to get the entertainment because they were hilarious.
On YouTube, they got the subtitle ones.
Yeah,
at least for a couple of them that I've seen on YouTube. So,
all right. Well, as always, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow RU Game on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook if you want to. And we are on YouTube, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pandora,
Spotify.
Pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcast, we are probably there. And if not, you can. There's ones that I have.
That's good because you get the listens, but man, you spread yourself out to where you're like.
Well, some of them just automatically add you to, and I'm like, I at the point, I yes, if I made money off this, I would love it, but I doubt I'll ever be enough to be, but all these people started out doing something, but
people start off fucking with 500 subscribers or whatever, and then they do Patreon or something like that.
We have a Patreon
special.
Patreon.
So I mean, if you get, what is Patreon? Is it $1 a month?
It can be as low as $1 a month or whatever.
So $1 a month, but if you get 500 people for $1, that's $500 a month.
Yeah.
You can start making some good money doing that. So, all they want is extra,
and
content.
I've literally only got one patron, and then everybody else just gives me money at the shop. like
that's me. Yeah.
And then
I don't see. That's the thing is I'm like, am I going to subscribe for $1 a month? I said I could just walk in and I'll just give you $20.
Yep.
And I'll do that once every couple months. That's a lot more than what you're going to get from Patreon, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, then they also Patreon takes their little percentage out too.
Yeah.
What was funny is I have another guy. He just showed up one day and he goes, "I love listening to this," and he hands me, and I was like, "Oh, sweet." I've had a couple people just here's $10. Here's And the funny part about it is I take all of that and I buy new stuff. I've bought new cameras. I bought new software.
I've had you add $20 onto my
bill at the shop.
My bill at the shop. I'm like, hey, I don't have cash on me. Can you just add $20 and just take it out of the till?
Put it on the credit card.
You're like, yeah.
and the thing is that none of that technically goes in my pocket. I used to spend it on buying more things for the show.
Yeah, see, that's good. Yeah, exactly. So.
And
as long as it works.
And hopefully, if everything goes all right this week, I'm going to edit together probably tomorrow night. I'm going to shoot Saturday morning serial so I can air it Saturday morning. So this one will get edited probably Sunday.
I'd love to be a part of that. I can't eat the cereal.
I can't eat
cereal.
Dude,
I ate a bowl of cereal. I ate a bowl of Fruit Loops the other day.
Lactose intolerant now?
No. I'm diabetic.
Oh, that's shit.
I ate just a bowl, just a little bowl. Normally, I'll take a half a freaking thing and pour it in there. And I just had a little bowl, dude, for hours afterwards. My heart's beating. I'm like, oh my God, that was bad.
What I do now is that as I've gotten older, I can't do milk a whole lot. So when I make oatmeal in the morning, I take a handful of dry cereal and mix it in there. Gives it a little more flavor and a little more crunch because oatmeal is just bland. The texture sucks. So
that's why some people throw a whole bunch of stuff into it.
Fruit and shit like that. But man, I put a little dry cereal, eat it all up. I'm good. So all right. So we're gonna cash it out tonight. So I am Paul.
Still doing it. I'm Mick,
and we're not licensed therapists.
I'm definitely
good
not.
night.